Well, Paul, this makes a change, doesn't it? How many nights have we spent talking about under-23 football? But the smile on your face now tells me a bit of a promotion for you.
Yes, it is. Come really, I wouldn't say out the blue. Steve and I have known each other for probably well over 15 years. We worked together at Middlesbrough when he first started his coaching career, and we both worked with the under-16s, I think it was, and we won the Nike Premier Cup back in 2000 and something or other. I think that was when we both had hair at that point as well. Yeah, so we go back a long way, Steve and I, and even the times when he did leave the club, we always kept in touch, and we both had a very similar philosophy on how we did things, how we worked in training and stuff. So. Nobody was more delighted than I when he was given that opportunity to step in with the first team, that's for sure.
There are similarities. I don't just mean the hairstyle that you brought up, but there are similarities in your approach to the game. You could see that, the way that you want to play, the way that Steve clearly wants to play. The two of you, not just on a personal level, but on a football level, clearly work together.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's down to what we've been brought up with, I guess, at the football club with the academy's philosophy. So, and then I guess developing our own practices and spending many hours really in the sports hall here and out on the football pitch, looking at different kinds of ways to play the game. And I guess we both had a real thirst for knowledge really on our philosophy. So yeah, and obviously Steve, very quickly and was very quickly identified really as a fast developing coach, and he's very well respected in the country, as we all know, in the game. So to see him where he is so quickly really was no surprise to me when he worked in the first team environment straight away, and his experience with Leeds United and ourselves, and then he went to Hull and worked with their first team, and the experience he got working at Hull, getting out the Championship, being in the Premier League, and then promotion with ourselves. He saw it all, and his experiences of what he's gained on top of what his beliefs are. I strongly believe that he'll be successful, and like I said, I was delighted to see him get this opportunity.
You've had roughly a week, if that or so, with the players, with Steve. How's that gone?
Fantastic. There's a good atmosphere. The players they're all we're probably having to hold them back a little bit at the moment. They can't wait to get the game going, and the training's been a good atmosphere in training, and everybody has worked extremely hard. From my perspective, they've bought into what we've tried to do, and we've had some positive feedback from the players, and the training has been really good and really intense, but ultimately it's Sunday and the next week that counts.
What role have you been given? What responsibilities?
Well, I guess from a training perspective, Steve and I will develop the coaching session. Steve tells me what he's trying to get out of the session, and from there we'll design and implement really the session that he wants to get out of it. So I'll look at the session, I'll look at what the physical requirements are needed, and more importantly with Adam Kerr, of course, and then from a footballing perspective, look at what we're trying to get out of the session, and then design and put together the session, and between Steve and myself and Joe and Woody will deliver it.
And what has happened, the change that has been brought about at the club and on many levels, it's been embraced by the players, is what you say?
Absolutely, yeah. There was a lot of good work historically gone on, and what we're trying to do really is just bring our own take on things. We clearly there was change was needed, and change has been brought about, and we've just tried to change a little bit on the training pitch, and from the training pitch we hope that they'll see a difference on the football pitch really on a match day.
The under-23s that you've worked with, will you look at them for progression to the first team, in terms of either in training sessions? I know from time to time players will get called in, not just to make up the numbers, but to be effective and to be given a chance. Your appointment, does that give them an added route through, possibly?
I think the door's been clearly opened. You know, both Steve and I know the importance of the academy and what it means to the chairman and the chief executive really at our football club. So we understand that, and you know, one thing we would say is if the players are good enough, they will get a chance, they will get an opportunity. And already over the last 2 weeks, players have had more training sessions with the first team. And you know, obviously sometimes circumstance, you know, makes that the players will go across because, you know, sometimes we haven't got enough numbers and there's players injured, international duty. But that's, you know, through that circumstance is an opportunity, and you know, some players may not have had an opportunity to get across with the first team through very different reasons. Yet when this happens, the door's open, and when that door opens, it's up to them then to show Steve that they'll be capable, if required, to be involved in the first team.
You leave behind the under-23s for this season in the hands of Spike. I'm sure you're not exactly walking away from Graham, you'll still be working with him closely, of course. There's only 3 games left of that season. What's his take on the affairs? I suppose you say a chance, an opportunity, it's a chance for him as well, maybe?
I think it's an opportunity for Graham, and it's an opportunity for the rest of the group, really. You know, there is 3 games left with the 23s, and you know, the message I said to the players was that there's, you know, you make sure that you don't just let the season drift away. You've got 3 games, and you know, try and win all 3 games. On top of that, from an individual point of view, they've got to look at themselves and I guess have a picture really of where they see themselves at the moment and where they could possibly see themselves next season, if they're still at the club. And you know, as for Graham, Graham's got a, you know, he's done his, I guess, his homework on you know, the players. You know, he knows all our players inside out, and you know, he's got a very good opportunity himself to be the lead coach now with the 23s at the moment, until the end of the season. And you know, hopefully we'll see some positive stuff going into the end of the season with them.
For you personally, I think you were one of only 3, possibly 4 people mentioned by Dave Parnaby when he left as being part of the fabric of the academy. You know exactly what this club is all about, you know exactly what the area is all about. You're a local lad, you know the values, you know the ethos. Ready-made for you, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, I get goose pimples actually now just talking to you. You know, what it means to me. Well, you know, I am a Middlesbrough lad. I was, you know, brought up in Hemlington, you know, and you know, I've worked for the club for 21 years, and I've worked with every age group more or less from under 12s right through. That's, you know, that is my story. Yet I'm extremely proud and honoured to have been given this opportunity to work with the first team, and you know, I'm hoping that what you know, Steve and I and Jonathan and Joe can deliver will be a really positive environment that you know, shows everybody around, not just at this football club but nationally, that we're ready.